What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, my goodness, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira making quick work of Justin Gaethje, got hurt twice, off of his back, got back up, transitioned to a beautiful rear naked choke finish. I mean, just how good is this guy?
Well, there's so much to say about Charles Oliveira, but one thing that he didn't get credit for, and I think we're going to have to start giving him credit for, is he might be the most exciting first-round fighter that the UFC has on their roster.
Yeah.
Now, you put him in there with Justin Gaethje, you're going to get fireworks. You put him in there with Michael Chandler, you're going to get fireworks. But I think that he has equally as an exciting style as they do. And when you throw those guys in the mix together, I mean, any way you want to do it, Gaethje Chandler, Oliveira Gaethje, every way you're just going to get fireworks. And they've proven that time and time again. But yeah, I was a little bit shocked because I did pick Oliveira to win that fight. And I was sitting on the edge of my seat thinking my bets were going to be way off after that first round. He got sat down twice, but man, what a comeback.
It's incredible. I mean, and it's almost funny because we were talking about it after the fight that he has this style where he almost feels like it's okay if he gets sat down in a firefight because he's so good off of his back that you saw when Gaethje cracked him those couple of times, he was perfectly ready to engage in an open guard sort of situation. And that's just a testament to how much he really believes in his jiu-jitsu, which we always talk about guys that have great takedown defense, like Israel Adesanya, for example, especially after the Jan Blachowicz loss. He really has shown incredible takedown defense, and that allows him to just be free-flowing with his hands because he's not worried about getting taken down, and he feels good enough now that if he does get taken down, he could probably get back up. Well, Oliveira is kind of similar but different in a way. He's like, look, I don't care if I get cracked in a firefight because even wobbled on the ground, I believe in my guard and my ability to finish, and it's kind of a very interesting way to approach things, and it really makes for exciting first rounds, as you said, because he comes straight forward. I kind of classify his style on the feet as a very Muay Thai heavy style. He comes straight forward. He has that Muay Thai cadence. He checks a lot of kicks. Every shot he throws is to hurt, as you see in Muay Thai. And then when he gets on the ground, he's got this transitional jiu-jitsu looking for submissions, probably unlike anybody competing in the UFC right now, which makes him a really tough task for anybody at lightweight to contend with.
Yeah, his striking is everything he does is really, really good. It's nothing overly fancy. He does throw in some jumping kicks and things like that from time to time, but for the most part, it's just really good low kicks, really good high kicks, really good punching, and every now and again, he'll throw some elbows in when he gets into the clinch work. But the clinch that he's able to, start doing with his opponents into the first round, because that pressure he brings winds up putting the fighters up against the cage, or even if they're not and they're out in the center of the octagon, they're fighting each other within like a phone booth style range. They're super close. And we noticed last night he did something that you never see in MMA. It's generally a huge no-no, but he's absolutely somebody that's allowed to do it, which was he essentially tried to pull guard on Justin Gaethje. And that shows and speaks volumes just to how good his jiu-jitsu is, even from the bottom. Justin Gaethje is a wrestler at heart, and I know he likes to stand and he doesn't really utilize his wrestling, but we usually think of that as takedowns. He doesn't really go for takedowns. He just likes to stand and trade. Usually if somebody lets a wrestler get on top of them, the wrestler's going to take that bait every single time.
Yes.
So Charles pulled guard, and I'm going, oh my God, he's going to let this wrestler from nature get on top of him. This is going to be hard to get up. Justin Gaethje let him come right back up. He was like, I don't want any part of that stuff on the ground with you. You're going to have to stand back up because I've sat you down twice and I'll sit you down again. And that does open up the freedom to strike however he wants, whenever he wants, with these guys who are also elite level strikers, because he's not afraid to go to the ground. He's not afraid of a takedown attempt. And, when he's fighting somebody that does love to trade with him, they're going to have to go power for power. And while optically you would assume Oliveira is really good with the striking, but he might not have a ton of power, I think we might have to revisit that, because it seems like Oliveira's got some serious power and some serious pop in his shots. And once he does hit you with some of them and he wobbles you or is able to get you kind of on loose feet, he's able to get that jiu-jitsu going, and that time and time again has proven to be world-class.
Yeah, when Charles Oliveira has you wobbled, you're all but submitted at that point, because if you have to have every bit of your wits about you to prevent a Charles Oliveira submission. I think that's 20 wins via submission at this point inside the UFC. He is an incredible submission ace, and it's not just guys that aren't grapplers that he's doing it to. As you mentioned, Justin Gaethje is a world-class wrestler. I mean, he is a top level freestyle wrestler, even though he doesn't use it, and wrestlers are extraordinarily extraordinarily good in top position, and they're extraordinarily difficult to deal with in the scramble. Well, Charles Oliveira dealt with Gaethje in both of those aspects. The scrambles he won. He took his back immediately after he transitioned, sunk in that rear naked choke, attempted almost a straight armbar from the guard, which led to a transition that got everything back up to the feet, and then he went right back to work, as you said, trying to pull guard again, ultimately getting that finish via RNC. It just is absolutely something that is to be admired. It's a thing of beauty, and Justin Gaethje, his Achilles heel tends to be losing via submission to really high-level grapplers, Khabib and now Oliveira in his second title attempt. So that's something that he really needs to work on and improve, because there's some submission aces at 155. You know, Beneil Dariush being another one that's got great submissions. So if Gaethje's going to be hanging around in that top 5 position, maybe getting that very, very difficult but attainable third crack at the title, he's going to have to correct that in his game. But all credit to Charles. And looking ahead, I think it's got to be Islam Makhachev next. And I think that's not just a give me. A lot of people say, well, Islam Makhachev is just going to walk through everybody, including the champion, and I will go ahead and just call Charles the champion. I'm aware of the half a pound discrepancy, but he is the champ at 155 in my eyes. And I think that it's going to be a difficult, tall order for Islam to defeat him, because Islam doesn't hit with a lot of power. He's very good. He's very disciplined, but he's not a power guy. He's very good with the takedowns, and he's very good with the ground and pound position. But Charles Oliveira is as good as they come off the back, and his submission threats are real, and they are everywhere. And there was a split second there where Islam was in a little bit of trouble with Dariush in a heel hook sort of leg entanglement situation. I think that Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is far better than Beneil Dariush, and I think that's going to lead to some very interesting ground exchanges. And I'm not ready to say that Islam just gets in there and walks over Oliveira.
Yeah, me either. You know, weight gate is definitely something that we're going to see unfold as the more information comes out in the scales. We're going to get some more information regarding what happened there. But Charles is the champ. Bronx is still the champ of that division. He's still looked at as the number one guy, seemingly unbeatable right now. You know, we were talking about just how important his ground game is from the bottom. And I would venture to say that most people, like a Justin Gaethje, like a Islam Makhachev, Michael Chandler, those types would love to just sit in somebody's guard and strike there. You know, in a jiu-jitsu match, you don't really want to hang out in somebody's guard. But when there's striking involved, you're more than welcome to do that, and you will win the round sitting in somebody's guard and throwing some punches every now and again, laying your head on their chest and coming up with some elbows every now and again. For Justin Gaethje to disengage completely and say, I don't want any part of that, makes you think, would Islam Makhachev try to sit in there and basically play with fire? Because Oliveira is very dangerous from down there, and his submission skills from the back are crazy. But the way he sets all that up and he sets the sweeps up is with really good striking from the bottom as well. You know, he defends himself very intelligently, and then he's throwing really hard elbows, and that to me poses a problem for Islam Makhachev. You know, I think Islam's going to go for takedowns. He's going to get takedowns, but I don't know how much he's going to want to hang out on the ground with him. And if it does become a striking match, then your money has to go towards Oliveira, because Oliveira is showing us that he hits really hard. He throws punches and bunches. He doesn't seem to gas out. You know, we watched Chandler gas out. We watched Justin Gaethje gas out. And it seems like even Dustin Poirier, these guys get in there with him and they think that they're these high level, you know, the best of the best, and they're fighting for a title for a reason. And then Oliveira shows them like, oh God, this is a different pace. This is a different animal. This is a different power. And I think that you don't understand just how good Oliveira is until you're in there with him, and that's when it's a little bit too late. So Islam Makhachev is definitely the right guy. I don't think, even though Conor McGregor had his name mentioned a couple times, that he's going to be moving into a title fight at 55 immediately. He even said so himself. He's like, I'm not sure if I want to cut the weight, but I do like the fight with the Brazilian, and I've knocked out all the Brazilians I've ever fought, so it could be something down the line. I think Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor at 170 is going to happen sooner than later, and I think Islam Makhachev is going to get that shot without having to fight Benny Dariush, and we're in for a real treat, because while we haven't seen anybody ever dethrone Khabib, we are definitely dealing with a Khabib 2.0, and I think Charles Oliveira has the absolute perfect style to beat one of those Dagestani wrestlers.
Yeah, I think so, and I think a lot of times when you fight the guys from Dagestan, especially Khabib and Islam, you spend so much energy and effort trying to prevent them from taking you down against the cage. They're just incredible against the cage. Once they get you against the cage, there's nobody better. No one has developed a system within the MMA framework to get people down against the cage better than Khabib and his stable have developed. But a lot of people waste a lot. I don't want to say waste. A lot of people exert a lot of energy trying to prevent that takedown because they know there's going to be hell to pay when they hit the canvas. I think in a lot of ways, Charles Oliveira is just going to go with the takedown. He may even pull guard. We're going to see some weird stuff in that fight that's going to be different than Islam is used to dealing with, because Charles Oliveira has no problem being on the bottom in a guard situation. So I don't think he's going to exert 1 ounce of energy trying to prevent the takedown from Islam. I think he might, quite frankly, concede it. We may even see a guard pull against Islam Makhachev because he's that confident in his skills off the back. And if he can start to slice open with some elbows and do some things, you know, anybody that you fight in this world, or anybody that he fights in this world, including Islam Makhachev, is one overextended punch away from getting triangled. And Islam will have to realize that the entire time he's fighting him. It's a great fight. It's a pick'em fight. I'm not ready to make my prediction yet, but I am, after last night, very excited to see Oliveira versus Makhachev.
Yeah, styles make matchups, and that one is perfect. I truly think that Oliveira has the skills to beat Islam, and if not, then these guys are just on another level, operating at a different frequency in Dagestan and over there in San Jose. But until we get that fight, we're not going to know. But I am very, very impressed with Oliveira. And one thing's for sure, whenever they do sign that fight and we get it going on fight night, it's going to be a hell of a first round.
Oh, yeah, that is for sure. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you thought about Bronx's performance, and can he get past Makhachev if that's the next fight they make. Until the next video, have a wonderful day.
Peace.